Okay, for this video, I've installed my HVAC system. I did an R407C changeover. This is a 2001 Train that I bought used off Craigslist for $250 for the whole system. Furnace, A-coil, and condenser unit. All was $250. And like I said, I changed it over to R407C. You can see I've labeled it there. And I'm hoping that this video will be useful to any other DIYers out there that are thinking of doing their own HVAC system installation. It is very involved. There's a lot that goes into this, so hopefully this will give y'all some insight into what all goes into it. And I did make a few little mistakes along the way, and I left those in for y'all to see so that hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I did. Okay, I'm starting my HVAC project off here with doing the oil change on the condenser unit. Anytime you go from R22 to R407C, you need to do something about the oil, because R22 uses mineral oil. R407C, you need to use POE oil. I've already got this unit wired in, by the way. Go ahead and make sure it's dead. And the way I'm doing this, I've got this Wendy's cup here. I've got 32 ounces marked on it. I poured in 32 ounces of water from a measuring cup and marked it. And what I'm doing, setting this on the ground. I've already poured some out, but it was foaming over, so I just set that on the ground, and I tilt the unit back and pour the oil out of here. And once I got 32 ounces of that oil poured out of there, I'll put the quart of POE oil back in. Boy, that shit's foaming. It was foaming over the top and spilling out. And that's what it does when you first pour it out. You just gotta wait for it to settle down. Probably gonna not get it quite up to a quart. I'll get it just a little bit under a quart to try and take into account the amount that's spilled over, and just go ahead and pour the whole quart of the POE oil in. Alright, well, that's the best I can get so far. And considering how much has foamed over and spilled over, plus potential losses in the original line set and the evaporator coil, and plus the fact that a lot of guys, when they do 407C changeovers, they'll typically just add about 15 to 20% capacity of POE oil in on top of the original mineral oil. I'm just going to call it right there and just go ahead and pour in that whole quart of the new POE oil. The way I'm putting the POE oil in is quite simple. I got the unit laid over on its front, got a funnel stuck in the suction line, valve open of course, and then I just take this and I just pour it on in. And I'm going to shut the camera off while I do this. Okay, I got the unit set back up right. I got the whole quart of oil in it. Well, not the whole quart. I did have a little spillage from where the funnel met the suction line, so I did have a bit of spillage there. But just about the whole quart anyway. Got the unit set back up, got the shut the valves back, put the caps back on it, and I did put new Schrader valves in and new brass caps. So it's all ready to solder the line set up, but I'm gonna call it a night now because I'm getting swarmed with mosquitoes. Okay, it's a couple days later. I've been moving kind of slow with this project because we're in the middle of a heat wave, so it's been getting real hot, but we got some rain today that kind of cooled us off. And earlier on, I came out here and started running the line set, but I realized I needed some elbows, because in trying to bend this line set, it just kept kinking on me, so I went and got some elbows for that. I might not need elbows for that 3/8 liquid line, because that seems to bend real easy without kinking, but I got some 3/8 elbows just in case. And we just had a downpour come through here, which I was at the supply house when that happened, so I wasn't here for that. But while waiting for this to move out, this rain to move out, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the inside. Okay, so here I am on the inside of the house. Here's my line set coming up. There's the 3/8 liquid, 3/4 suction, and you can see just how misshapen that's gotten from me routing it. I just hope it's still gonna work. This is kind of thin copper, just kinks real easy when you try to bend it. I had priced a bender when I was at the supply house, but it was going to be like almost $200, and I'm not going to spend that kind of money on one project, so I just went ahead and got some elbows, and I'll just have to be real careful with this right here. And yes, that's the suction line, and I do still have the Armaflex to slip back over it. I just had to take the Armaflex off of it to get it up through that hole, because that hole wasn't thick enough to get the Armaflex through. I'll slide the Armaflex back over that. I'll finish filling this in. I just got to cut 1 2x4 and lay it on its side to go here to take up that space. And then we'll get the furnace and A-coil set in place. There's the furnace right there. There's my A-coil. I got a street elbow to go in there. Just got to clean that out, sand that up, clean it. I've got my MAP gas torch here. I've got Stay Bright 8 solder and Stay Clean flux to flux this up with. And I've got my here's my little jug of 407C, my gauge set, liquid line filter dryer, and there's my 5 CFM Robinair vacuum pump. So I got just about everything I need. Now originally, like in my last video, I had said that I was going to look into getting a professional on this, but that didn't work out. I had one professional not even come out. They just kind of stood me up, and then the unemployment benefits that I was receiving got taken away, so I just got to do this as cheap as I can. Oh, and there's my 3/4 inch PVC pipe and my condensate trap for doing the condensate line. And I did get a secondary float switch. You can see in here, there's my elbows I just picked up. And those are some adapter fittings I'm not going to need. Alright, well, let's get to it. Okay, just getting ready to solder up here with my Stay Bright 8. Got my MAP gas torch. I've fluxed up these joints. Ready to solder them up. Okay, my first ever HVAC solder joints. That right there is the best I have to offer. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Okay, I just got those soldered up, waiting for them to cool before putting the Armaflex all the way back on and doing the thermostat wiring. Color codes are red hot, blue neutral, white for heat, green for fan, yellow for cooling. On the condenser unit, all you need is the red and the yellow, but I would highly recommend not cutting the additional wires off, so that later on in the future, if you were to install a heat pump or a communicating unit or something that needs these extra wires, they'll be there for that. So just take them and wrap them around. Okay, there you can see what I was talking about wrapping those back, leaving them for future use. Little blue wire nuts. Stuff those in the little compartment here. Unit's got a grommet on it for that, and then I'll just put the cover back on and the outdoor unit will be done. Okay, there's that half done. All soldered up here. Not the best looking Armaflex, that's Gorilla Tape I put on there. Maybe I'll come back with some black shit to wrap around there and make it look a little better. Thermostat wire. So that's about the best I could do with what limited resources I could have that I've got. So I just hope it works. Hopefully before too long it'll be cooling. Okay, so now that the outside's done, time for the inside. I just put the A-coil on with fresh new tape all the way around. Here's the line set coming up out. Hopefully I'll be able to cut off this mangled up section here. Boy, I hope this is still gonna work with all these. I sure hope this is still gonna work with all these little boo-boos in it in various places. I'm gonna get the furnace kind of set in place. I got the furnace set in place. As you can see, I got a plastic bag draped over the top of the A-coil, because originally I set this in place thinking it would just be a test fit, but this was an endurance round getting this motherfucker set into place. This furnace with that A-coil sitting on top of it is really heavy. And as you can see, I chewed up the front of this 2x4 trying to angle this sumbitch up in here. So what I did, I drug this stove out of the way, and I came up here and I cut this cross member out of here. There's a 2x4 that was going across here. I cut that out with the Sawzall. This is the opening where a smokestack, masonry smokestack, used to go up and out through the roof. And I'm hoping that my plenum will line up with that hole, and the plan is to bring the plenum in through this hole here, see if I can get it on there with the furnace still sitting in place. And I'm hoping that I've got enough space up inside that hole in the ceiling where that smokestack used to go through, hoping that that hole is big enough and lines up enough with that plenum that I can cut my 2 holes in the top for my 8-inch takeoffs, so that I don't have to cut any more out of the ceiling. But I'm gonna find that out before taking the plastic bag off the A-coil, because there's a good chance I may have to climb up there with the Sawzall and cut out some of that ceiling to be able to run the ductwork up into the attic. And the way I'm doing this, the duct for the ducts for the bedroom and living room are running through the attic. Well, they're not there yet, but they will be. And then, of course, the ducts for the kitchen and bathroom are going to run through this drop ceiling space. So they're just going to come straight out the side of the plenum and land where they're going to land for the kitchen and bathroom. Got to get to it. Okay, well, as it turns out, I do not have enough room through that hole, and it does not line up with the top of the plenum. And the plenum just barely doesn't fit. It's just a little bit too tall to fit in there with the plaster still on the ceiling. It's only by about that much, so if I knock all the plaster off the ceiling it might fit. But there's another problem. Don't know how well we're going to see that, so I'm going to need a light. Right there is a ceiling joist spanning right in my fucking way. If I'm going to be attaching the ductwork along the top of the plenum, that is going to have to come out of the way. Now, the ceiling joists here are not structural. All they're doing is just holding up the old plaster. And we've got this drop ceiling in here, so we can do without that joist. However, I don't want to go stripping the whole ceiling so that I can take out that one joist. So what I'm thinking is I'll run a support up to it from the top plate of this wall to that side, and then another support from the top plate of this wall up to that joist, so I can cut just right over that HVAC closet and cut out that ceiling. That's pretty much the only thing I can think to do. The only other option I can think of is to get the duct plenum on there and then attach the 8-inch takeoffs for the living room and bedroom ducts to this side, this left side of the plenum, and then put elbows on them to go up and around that joist. But I only have 2 of these 8-inch elbows, and I need both of them for the ceiling registers for the living room and bedroom. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to cut those supports and just do it like I just described. Well, let me get to it. Alright, I got my supports up there holding up that ceiling joist, supporting it on each side. Now to get up in the attic with the Sawzall and make a big fucking mess. Okay, we're back up in my attic. You can see the little crumb trail from the last time I was up here. You got the Sawzall down here. We're gonna go down there and get that ceiling cut out. Let me grab my clamp light here. We're gonna get that ceiling cut out down there above the HVAC so I can get the ductwork run. Okay, as you can see, made my hole. We got wide open direct access down there to the furnace. I cut out this joist here, which is sitting on my supports that I made going to that wall. So that's what that's sitting on now. Now I can set the plenum on top of that. Go ahead and run my ductwork after I clean up all that fucking mess I just made. Woo! It's a good thing I recently cleaned the filter on the vacuum. Well, here's what that hole looks like from down below. Got a nice big wide open space. My plenum ought to fit through there. I can bring it on in through there, set it on top. Should be able to hook it up. I did get all that fucking mess cleaned up and did all that vacuuming, got that plastic bag off the A-coil. And I didn't forget the rubber grommets that go around these. I've slid them over the pipes and they just fell all the way down there. I'll slide those up before I start soldering and get this soldered up. Don't know if I'm going to do that tonight or if I'm going to focus on ductwork tonight. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm thinking I might just call it a night because I'm exhausted. I don't know. Thinking about just taking a break and going and getting some Gatorade. I went ahead and set the plenum up there just to see how it fits. It just fits, and it's wide open to the attic up there, so I can cut my 2 holes for my 8-inch takeoffs and put those in right in the very top, going straight up into the attic. And then over here I can cut my 2 holes for my 6-inch takeoffs for the kitchen and bathroom right there in the side. That should be good to go. How do you like that jagged ass rough cut for the 8-inch takeoff? I do have a bucket of mastic over there in that bag for sealing around that. I don't have one of those fancy tools that you attach to your drill for cutting a perfect hole, so I just did that with the tin snips here. And then I went around with my lineman's pliers and just flattened it down the best I could. Now I got 3 more to do. I got the 8-inch next to it. I marked these off by putting these collars on here and tracing around them with a marker. Got those to do. And then I gotta go around the other side and do the 2 6-inch. Okay, by the time I made it to this side of the plenum, I'd gotten a little bit better with my 10 snips technique, so my 2 holes here are a little bit neater, and my 6-inch takeoffs, well, that one's squished a bit, but my 6-inch takeoffs fit right in there. And like I said, I do have the bucket of mastic in that Lowe's bag over there to seal these in. But I won't be able to get the plenum set in place with those attached. So I'll have to just go ahead and set the plenum and then attach those. Okay, before putting the plenum back in place, I went ahead and taped up all the joints on it using the good shit, the 3M. I'll go set this on top of the furnace and get it taped up there, and then put the starting collars on it, and maybe I'll go ahead and run the ductwork tonight, who knows. Okay, I got the plenum taped up in place all the way around, taped up good, and it's just taped. I didn't use sheet metal screws because this is in a closet, so I wanted to make sure that later on in the future, if the system ever needs replacing, they ain't got to try to take screws out of the sides or back inside a tight closet. I got the 6-inch takeoffs for the kitchen and bathroom ducts put in place, sealed them up with mastic. I just spread that around with my fingers. That's why it looks so sloppy. I started out using a Home Depot bag, which is why that one's real sloppy. And then I just said fuck that and just took it off and just used my bare fingers and got it in there as best as I could. Hopefully I got it all the way around. Now I just got to go up in the attic, put in the 8-inch takeoffs, and I'm debating whether I'm going to go ahead and do that tonight or if I'm just going to call it a night, but I don't know. I was talking about calling it a night a couple hours ago, but then I just decided to keep on going. Who knows? Maybe I'll just get all the duct work done tonight And that way tomorrow all I'll have left to do is the refrigeration. Hell, I may even go ahead and solder this up tonight so that tomorrow all I got to do is pull a vacuum and charge it up, which hell, I may go ahead and pull a vacuum tonight. If I do decide to keep going, I may just go ahead and pull a vacuum tonight so that way tomorrow I can see if it's still holding vacuum and I'll know if I've got a leak or not. Okay, I did decide to go ahead and start soldering up these lines. I just did the liquid line filter dryer. There's my soldering job, Stay Bright 8, soldered with the yellow MAP gas torch. And as you can see, I'm a firm believer that the liquid line filter dryer belongs indoors, out of the weather, because it's made of steel, painted steel, and if you put it outside, the paint can deteriorate, and then this can start to rust and you get a leak. But if you put it indoors, you don't have to worry about it. Well, let me finish soldering this up. Well, I did decide to go ahead and solder up these lines. I haven't gone up in the attic and done the takeoffs or the ductwork for the living room or bedroom. I'll go ahead and save that for tomorrow. But I'm going to go ahead and go outside, hook up the vacuum pump, start a vacuum pulling on this, and then I'll come back in here and put this Armaflex back on the well, I've already got it almost all the way back on, but I'll go ahead and let that cool and finish Armaflexing it, put the grommets back on, and then I guess I'll go ahead and call it a night. Okay, I went ahead and got the thermostat wiring done and figured I'd go ahead and do that while the vacuum pump's running outside. I did get a secondary float switch, got that wired in. I did put it on the red side, so if the drain pan overflows to the secondary, it'll shut off the whole furnace. Now, I did get the Armaflex put back on there, got the lines all routed, tucked up, neat as I could. So, all that's done. A vacuum is being pulled on it right now. I don't have a micron gauge, so I'm just letting the vacuum pump run for like 30 minutes. I'll shut it off, come back tomorrow, see if it's still holding vacuum. So all that's left for this project is to just if it's not leaking, if it's holding vacuum, come back, charge it up, finish the ductwork. Well, probably I'll do the ductwork first and then charge it up, and that'll be it. Needles pulled down below 30 inches of mercury on the suction side. It's been that way for like a minute, like about 1 minute. I just shut the vacuum pump off before starting the camera, so it's under vacuum right now. I'm gonna unhook the vacuum pump. I'm thinking I'll just kind of tuck the gauges under the house where they can't be seen and just leave them overnight. Come back tomorrow, see if it's still holding vacuum, because I don't have nitrogen to do a nitrogen test with, so I just have to make do with what I can do. Just use the good old car air conditioner method of just pulling it down on to vacuum and just seeing if it holds vacuum. It's the best I can do. Okay, so here we are after midnight the next night. So it's been over like 21 hours now, because it was almost 3 o'clock in the morning when I left last night. And I just left the gauges hooked up and hanging here. We'll see where it's sitting. Wow, that needle hasn't moved a hair. Okay, so that strongly suggests to me that this system is not leaking. If it was able to hold a vacuum like that for over 21 hours and not leak, not move a hair on the needle, then it must not be leaking. However, I'm not going to be charging it tonight because there's two things that need to be done before it's ready to be charged. Okay, what two things need to be done before the system is ready to be charged is I need to run the ductwork and the primary condensate drain. There is no secondary condensate drain, I just put a float switch on. I also really need to clean the top of the unit. It's greasy with all the flux that dripped when I was soldering up there. Nasty. Need to see if this mastic is cured up here. I don't know how long that mastic takes to cure. It feels dry though, so I guess it does in a day. That's what I gotta do, is I gotta run the ductwork and give the mastic time to cure before the system can be pressurized, because the system has to be running when I charge it. So I'll get started on that. Okay, here we are back up in my attic again. Got the bucket of mastic and two 8-inch takeoffs. I'll get those takeoffs put on and masticed up, and then I'll drag the duct supplies up here, the flex and the boots and things, which I've actually got to cut two holes. I got to cut one in the living room ceiling and one in the bedroom ceiling before I can run the duct work. Okay, just got those two takeoffs put on, masticed in place. I need to go down and cool off before doing anything else. I need to give that mastic a bit of time to cure too before I go attaching flex duct. Make sure those are on there good and solid. Okay, after taking a bit of a cool off break, I brought my duct and duct supplies up here. I ain't got the holes cut in the ceiling yet, but I figured I'd get the duct in place and hooked up down there to the plenum. And I got the strapping over here, can't hardly see it, but nylon plumbing strap to hang the duct from the rafters with. I use plastic plumbing strap to hang my stupid shitty flex duct. It's fucking hot up here. Okay, I just cut a fucking hole in my living room ceiling for the register. Had to turn off the ceiling fan so I don't blow dust everywhere. I got the diffuser taped to the elbow here. Here's my oh, that's not the diffuser, that's the damper. I mean, get the damper and diffuser put up there. Well, I just got up the ladder to put the diffuser up there and was a bit amazed at how perfectly my hole accidentally lined up with where my duct was already laying up in the attic. So I've got no shadow of a doubt that that's gonna reach now, because it's right fucking there. Ow, just poked myself on that sheet metal screw. Yeah, I'm gonna need two hands for this. Aha! Look what I got! My first HVAC register installed in my living room. Along with a bunch of fucking mess I gotta clean up. But that's pretty standard for any kind of project. It's all over the fucking place. You do a major project like this, you're gonna have shit to clean up. More fucking mess. I just busted me a hole for the bedroom ceiling diffuser. The living room is the only room that's actually getting a diffuser put in right now, because the bedroom, kitchen, and bathroom are all going to be getting new ceilings put in them. So for now, they're just going to have just bare duct sticking out with just the fucking elbows on them for the diffusers. We're getting closer. I just gotta, getting close to done in the attic. I just gotta hook up that register, get the bedroom duct run, and get that poked down through here. And then it'll be done up in the attic. And then the next thing will be to run my 2 little flex runs for the kitchen and bathroom. That should be easy, just going straight from there and just hanging down here. Okay, I just made that connection to that living room register, but I got a bit of a problem, a little bit of a fuck up here. The insulation doesn't make it all the way to that. My guess is that I tied it up down there too soon without it being properly expanded out of the box. So as a result, we got a little too much insulation down there at the plenum, not enough down here. But I'm just gonna fucking leave it like that. I'm not gonna go through a bunch of effort trying to stretch this shit better with it hanging on these damn straps to try and get that connected. I don't think that's even gonna make a difference in my energy bills anyway. Once the air gets going through here, that ain't gonna fucking matter. So I just leave it like that. So all I got left to do up here is just run that other piece of flex that's still over there in the box for the bedroom, and then it'll finally be done in this hot ass attic. Like, it's after 4 o'clock in the morning and it's probably 100 degrees up here. It hasn't cooled down up here much at all tonight, and I've been here since midnight. Okay, so let me make an amendment to what I just said. I went down there to the plenum to go hook up the bedroom duct, and I saw that that insulation down there was just all loosey-goosey. So I went ahead and massaged it all the way down the line, past all these damn straps, to get it down here where I could go ahead and strap it on up there to the takeoff. So if there are any HVAC guys watching that were getting ready to type me a death threat in the comments for that, leaving that uninsulated shit exposed, well, you can go ahead and save it. Save it for the Run Cat Bandit or the Goodman installers or some shit. Well, that just about does it for the ductwork up here. Living room and bedroom. Here's the one for the bedroom. Just poking out through the hole down there. And then down there, going to the living room. There's my excess from the bedroom, because I only needed like that much of it. And I just tossed the box of all the rest of it down there. And I'm just going to leave it there for now. I may leave it there forever. I don't give a fuck. I'm just glad to finally be done with this hot ass attic. Now I'll go get the rest of my shit down. I threw down a bunch of tools, but I'm going to carry down the bucket of mastic, the crown stapler, and the strapping. All I got left to do is go down there and run the 2 little short runs for the kitchen and bathroom, and the ductwork will be done. Oh, the ductwork is finally all finished. Here's the kitchen and bathroom ducts just kind of hanging out there where they're gonna, roughly where they're gonna be whenever I get the ceilings put in these rooms. And there's the bedroom one hanging out where it's gonna be whenever this room gets a new ceiling put in. And then of course, there's the living room register. The only register actually installed in the house right now. And I got a ton of fucking mess to clean up. But I ain't doing that today. So, all that's left is finishing up this condensate drain. I just got to drill a hole through there, through the floor, run the pipe on down and on out. It's after 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun's coming up. I've been here since midnight. And I believe the directions on the back of the mastic says to give it 48 hours to cure before pressure testing. Yeah, it says allow at least 48 hours before pressure testing. So I'm going to take that to mean that it should not be under any kind of pressure for the next 48 hours. And the system needs to be running in order to charge it. So it's now Sunday morning, so Tuesday will be when I can come out and charge it. So I may go ahead and go get me something to eat and go turn in for the day, and then may come back later tonight and finish this condensate drain. I also got to box in this return down here. I got to cut 3 sheets of OSB and get this all sealed in. Get this get that hole where that line set's going, get that sealed in with some spray foam. May go ahead and do that later tonight, since I've got 48 hours before I can even charge it anyway. And since the system held vacuum for over 21 hours, I've got no reason to believe that it's not going to work whenever I charge it up, so long as I charge it up correctly. Okay, it's now Monday night. I get to charge the system up tomorrow. I'm just down here, I'm doing the finishing touches, running this condensate line. And it gives you the opportunity to see my line set routed, or line set and thermostat wire. Just go in the house and button it on up. There's the end of my condensate drain sticking out down there. So we're all done out here. Just got to go put the finishing touches inside. Alright, well this is what I got done today. I boxed in this return with OSB. I just finished the condensate drain. I originally drilled a hole for it there and tried to run it out through there, but the center carrying beam of the house was directly below it. So I had to pipe around that, which I'm not too happy about. That's 2 extra elbows I didn't want. But whatever, it is what it is. And as you can see, I used the great stuff to seal this in as tight as I could, filled in every crack and gap and hole that I could find. That way this return box would be sealed and it won't be sucking unfiltered air in. There's my condensate line running up. Got a trap with a vent. Got my secondary float switch. Got everything all glued up. So all that's left to do is to put the return air grill on, put the filter in it, and then this system is all done and ready to be charged, which I'll do tomorrow. Thinking of doing it early in the morning so that I'm not doing it in the daytime during the 105 degree heat wave. I mean, like right now It's like almost 9 o'clock at night and I'm sweating. It's oh geez, it's almost 90 degrees in here, and that's with a little window unit running. Fuck me. Alright, just got to get that return air grill put on, call it a night, and then tomorrow charge it up. Alright, there we go. It's all wrapped up. Got the return air grill on it, got a filter in it. All that's left to do is come back tomorrow, charge the system up, and it should be cooling. Alright, it's Tuesday. The mastic on the ductwork should be cured so he can finally run the system. Right now I've just got the fan running to test the airflow, and we've got good airflow. This thing is just dumping air on me. I can stand under that duct, under this one, and I'm just getting showered with air. Same thing in here. If I stand under this one, get a nice blast of air dumping right down on me. Now this one here in the living room, it's got the diffuser on it. I couldn't feel it from the ground. I had to get up to it because what it's doing, it's blowing air like flat across the ceiling. That's okay, because that means it's blowing air right into the ceiling fan, which I turned off in an attempt to try and feel the air coming out of there. But it is there. Now we're finally ready to grab that jug of 407C and start charging. Now, because this system has a piston metering device, the method used to charge it will be superheat, so we need to calculate target superheat. So I need to take the indoor wet bulb temperature, that would be the temperature of the air going into the system, and we're at about 87 degree air going in. Okay, we're finally ready to start charging. I got everything set up here. I got my multimeter with thermocouple taped to the suction line for taking superheat. Got my target superheat chart, refrigerant already purged the line and everything. All I got to do is start this unit running. I've already got it turned on inside. Just need to plug in the disconnect. Well, disconnect was already plugged in. Breaker's on. Alright, let me go see what's wrong inside. Okay, I've been at this for a couple hours now. Got my R407C here, and I believe I got it just about right. We got 72 on the suction line versus a saturated temp of about 107, so that's 35 degrees of superheat, which is close to what, that's about what my superheat chart says the superheat should be. We are getting a little cold here on this line. It's a very hot day today. It's kind of hard to charge a system on a really hot day. It is cooling down in here. It was 90 when I came over. And if I check delta T, we've got about 80 degree air coming in, 81. Yeah, about 80 to 81 degree air coming in. And we've got 60 degree, 59, 60 degree air coming out. So that's about 20 degrees of delta T. That's very good. Delta T should be between 18 and 21, so 20 is a fucking great number. And it is cooling. I can stand under here and feel that cold air. It is cooling. We got hot air coming out of here. We got condensation, cold condensation dripping out of the condensate drain. Now there's one last very important detail. Anytime you change over the refrigerant, you need to label the system to the new refrigerant so that the next guy who works on it will know what you did, will know what's in it. As you can see, I labeled the condenser unit in 3 places. That way you can't possibly miss it. Okay, I came here last night to check on the system and see how the house was cooling down, and found that the system had froze up. And some of y'all may have noticed in the clip where I was charging the system that I was reading the superheat wrong. I was reading the saturated temp on the high side gauge, and my temperature probe is on the low side. You need to, for superheat, you need to read the low side gauge. The high side is for subcooling, which I'm not even measuring anyway, because this system has a piston, so you charge by superheat. And right now, we're at about 2 degrees saturated temp on the liquid side, and 70 Fahrenheit on temperature on the line. So that's like 68 degrees of superheat, so we need to add some Freon. And with 407C, you do need to have the jug upside down to charge in liquid, because it is a blend. And so you need to do it kind of slowly. Just kind of crack it a little bit, let some in, and close it back up. Well, I'll get to it and see if it starts cooling better. See if it quits freezing up. We're at about 8 degrees saturated temp versus 72 on the suction line. So we're still at about 64 degrees of superheat. It should probably be around here somewhere. See, that'd be 30. Our target superheat, I'm not quite sure, because my superheat app, I actually have the app this time, not the chart, and the superheat app won't let me calculate target superheat until I get it up enough to a certain point. I'll add some until I get that superheat up enough to where the app will let me calculate it. Alright, I believe that's just about got it now. We're sitting at about 23 degrees of superheat, and yes, this time I'm checking the low side, not the high side. And I do have my thermocouple on the suction line. Suction line is beer can cold, and it's sweating. Now we're up to 64 on that. So, I believe it's charged. Well, the app actually says it's charged. You tell the app what your pressure is and what your temperatures are, and it'll tell you if you've got the correct charge, and it says I'm dead on the money now. So hopefully it'll cool good and won't freeze up again. Alright, well that just about does it then. Hopefully the charge is good now and won't freeze up again. This liquid line is ice cold and sweating. We got condensate dripping. I'm sure you can probably hear the bearings in that fan motor are going bad, so I will have to replace that fan motor in the not too distant future if I take this brick off of it. It sounds really bad. Hopefully I won't need that brick for long. Oh yeah, when you step in this door, you definitely feel you're walking into an air-conditioned house now. It's down to just about 70 degrees, 71, 72 maybe. And we're getting cold ass air coming out. So I guess all that's left to do is to just let it run for another day, see if it freezes up again. Hopefully it won't. And hopefully I can finally put away that R407C in that gauge set. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. This video is pushing into an hour now. So thanks for watching. More to come later.